Hello, welcome to my new apartment. I wanted to take a second to show you guys around, show you some of the trinkets I have in this cool place, and some of the fun features I'm excited about. And I know some of you wanted to hear about the trinkets, so that's why we're here. This is my new apartment, come on in. Okay, we're gonna start in the living room, so come on in. And the first thing I want to talk about in the living room is this incredible blue velvet couch, which I am obsessed with. I'm so happy I found this. And the thing about this couch is, when I first moved here, I knew I wanted it to be a little quirky. I wanted it to be artsy, I wanted it to be a little weird. And this is a perfect mix-up for me because it's colorful, it looks a little luxurious, it's velvet, and it's a little quirky, but it still has some class, and I think that's what I'm about. So I'm very proud of this couch. It's the centerpiece of the living room. And I paired it with this amazing rug that I got on a really good deal. If you want to know where to get a good rug, ask me and I'll tell you. But this is it, the couch, the sectional. I'm so happy with it. Alright, this is a little corner of the living room that I like. I just got this really nice side table from Facebook Marketplace, and I actually thought it was a bit bigger, but it turns out it works really well with this blue theme I have going on, and I just love these brass handles. I think dark blue and brass is a great mix. And I put some various, I don't know, paraphernalia, that's the wrong word, memorabilia on the top of this that I'll talk about quickly. So this is something I always put on my coffee tables. It's Florence Welch's book called Useless Magic, Lyrics and Poetry. And it's really cool, Florence and the Machine, I'm a huge fan. And the book is color-coded, so it's split up into her albums. And then at the end there's a collection of poems, and it's all stuff from like her journals. So there's really cool pages in here that just kind of evoke like what she's been journaling about, or like art that's inspired her. And yeah, I really like owning this piece, and sometimes I'll listen to the album and pull out the book and just kind of look at the poetry and the lyrics. So I love that. I also have here a Salvador Dali book. This is the Taschen book about Salvador Dali, and they do a book series on every artist. I went to the Dali Museum in Paris, and I really like his work. It's a little bit creepy for some people, but he's one of my favorite artists, and I think he really touches on some cool themes, especially for his time. I think he was a quirky person, and I really like how almost psychedelic some of his work is. So that's why I have that here, and it's a good conversation starter. And then I also have this table atlas, and I just put this here because I thought it would be cool. I love maps and cartography, so this is just a classic, actual like academic world atlas. And classic index at the back. When I was little, I used to love matching and finding exact places and then learning about them. So it's just kind of a cool nod to how I like to travel and adventure. So that's my little side table, and we'll continue the tour. Okay, this is one of my favorite corners of the new space, and I don't know what came over me, but I just felt super creative and I decided to make it work. It actually all started because I wanted a space for my record player and I didn't have a big enough surface for it. So I decided to turn this bookshelf sideways, put the record player on top, and fill out the rest of the space. And I just thought it would be cool to have an artsy space. So I've actually filled it with some amazing posters that I never got to use before. And they have different meanings and do different things. But first off, I have this old license plate, and this is actually from France. It's a Parisian license plate, and I ordered it online, and I love France. For those of you who don't know, I lived there. Everyone knows that. I should shut up whenever I talk about it. But and then I also have a map of Paris. That's like a blueprint. And of course they kind of go together, which is why it's up there. And also in correlation with the blue Paris map is this celestial chart, which I actually got at the Griffith Observatory in Los Angeles. And that night I was able to look through the telescope, which was really, really cool, and I wanted something to remember it by. So I love this style of chart where it's kind of written in that text that's a little bit, I don't know, it's like the old world, but they're discovering things about space, about the earth, about biology and botany, and they use this certain font, and that poster had that font. And I actually have a bit of it on my tattoo as well. That says the kingdom in French. And a friend of mine, Darian, did that tattoo, so thank you. But I'm a big fan of style like this. I know it's pretty specific, but I'm really happy I got to find a spot for it. If you go down to the right, obviously that's artwork from Kanye West's My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, and please forgive me, but I don't remember the author's name, the artist's name. And below that we have a Cour des Pirates picture from her album Blonde, which is my favorite record of hers. And I just really like the way they made this poster in the album, and I thought it would look cool in the corner, so we added that. And then finally I do have this poster of Allie and AJ, my favorite sisters besides the Olsen twins. This is from a concert I went to see them in Vancouver. They sold out of meet and greet tickets for the show, and I messaged AJ and I said, hey, I'd really like to join the meet and greet. And she said, no problem, I'll add your name to the list. So I got to the concert, their manager came down and called me up by name, and then they brought me up, and it was so sweet of them to let me join the meet and greet so we could catch up. So they gave me a signed photo, signed poster, and that's just really special to me. They are the artists that have inspired me to write my own music and also learn so much about myself, and I'm so grateful to them. So I wanted to put a little touch of them in my house. And we also have some little trinkets over here. This is from a trip to India I did, and it's a little souvenir. I went on a missions trip to India with Samaritan's Purse in 2017, and we all got these little elephants, and actually it's pregnant. There's a little baby elephant inside. This is kind of a cool story, this little Eiffel Tower. So before I moved to Paris on my study abroad trip, I was working at the Drop-In Center, which is North America's largest homeless shelter, and I was developing a curriculum to help reintegrate homeless and low-income Calgarians into the workplace. And I was so excited. This was like the job that would help me go on my study abroad trip and help me save up all the money I needed. And I was just, the whole time I was there, it was about for 9 months, I was talking about Paris constantly. I couldn't believe I was going. It was the place of my dreams. And one day during one of my classes, one of my students came and put this on my desk, and they said, this is for you. And they actually are from France, this student of mine. And I was so excited to meet them. And when I got to practice my French with him, and he told me all these stories about living in France, and he was so excited for me to go and experience it for myself. So he told me I could keep and stay excited and keep it on my desk in anticipation for the trip, and I've kept it ever since. So I'm really grateful for that piece of memory. And this, it doesn't really fit on the shelf, but it's a little bit of black sand that I collected from a family trip we did to Hawaii in 2013. This was a really magical trip for me. I was expecting Hawaii to be kind of cliche and like people go there all the time, but we saw an active volcano. I got to see Saturn's rings through a telescope. We swam with manta rays. It was absolutely incredible, and one of my favorite trips I've taken with my family. So I brought some sand back with me, which I think might be illegal, but I'm really happy I did. So a lot of people have recognized that this is a massive tree in my house. It's the biggest plant I have, and it was actually gifted to me by a high school friend named Rachel Hardy, and she's amazing, a great musician, a friend of my brother's. They were in the same class, and she gifted this to me, which was so kind of her. And Rachel, if you're watching this is brand new growth at the bottom here. That's all me. So thank you for entrusting me with this beautiful plant. I haven't named it, and I should. It deserves a name. So if you have a name idea, let me know. I also also wanted to talk to you guys about this amazing bar cart which I just bought when I moved into this place, specifically for this place. So again, you can see the gold and the blue motif I have going. And it's a beautiful cart from Wayfair. I'm really happy to own this. There's also a really cool leaf art detail in the middle shelf that I love. And I think it's just perfect. It really suits me. I'm so happy I found it. On top, we actually have some pieces I would love to talk about. First off, this decanter. It's beautiful. It's from Crate & Barrel, and it was gifted to me from my arcade family, my coworkers, on my birthday last year. And I really love it. There's actually even a blue tint at the bottom here. And I just think it's so classic. I like to pretend that I'm in Downton Abbey when I use it, which is amazing. And I also have these little mini bust guys that I got. I just found them actually on Facebook Marketplace as well. Obviously they were really cheap, they're just little plaster guys. But I really like the idea of the bust, and we already have those on the media unit, so I decided to just pick these guys up. And I'll tell you about them. There's this guy. They all are kind of weird. They look a little like abstract. So I think this guy is supposed to be Socrates. That's who he is in my mind. I just picture him like that person, kind of. This lady has a really scary face and interesting hair. I'm gonna call her Priscilla. And I know Priscilla is something in Greek mythology. I don't remember. This guy is the least weird, but his face is kind of skinny. And his arm's kind of cut off. But I think he's just an unknown Roman soldier. So, in memory of all who lost. This is the creepiest one, I think. She reminds me of the lady in the movie It, the painting that comes to life and attacks the boy. So she's really scary. And something about these guys is one day, I always have them like this, and I came out to the kitchen and I looked and they were all facing me. And I think it's because they're kind of like spinny on the cart. That's what I tell myself. So hopefully they're safe. But we've prayed over this place. The blood of Jesus covers this apartment. So that's the story. Welcome to my bedroom. This is another part of the house that's really unique and special. There's a lot of fun little trinkets in here as well. And obviously the piece de resistance is these French doors, which are amazing. This is it. Come on in and welcome. It is I'll just go over here. It's a fun space. I really like it. I feel like it's a contrast to the rest of the house because it's really calming. I wanted it to be that way. The bed barely fits, but we made it work. And I have some great pieces of art here. It's very simple. Above my bed we have this Monet piece. And obviously I'm a big fan of the Impressionists. And this picture really speaks to me because it mixes a lot of different things that I love. I love the sea and the ocean, and there's obviously the water element. I love sailing, and there's the sailboats. And I love France, and this takes place in France. And so the painting is called Boating at Le Havre, which is in Normandy in France. And I really like it. So I think it adds to the blue motif as well with a little bit of the gold and brown undertones. Behind me we have this poster, which is another piece of Ali and AJ merch, also signed by them. They had a experimental single come out called Joan of Arc on the Dance Floor. And this was the artwork they had created for it. And I just think it's really fun. I was excited to have a space where I could put up this piece of art because it's like pretty quirky and interesting. This is my scratch map. It's a little beat up, but I've scratched off all the places in the world I've been to, and I like keeping this close to home so I can document my travels. And on the other side of the room, we have this map of Eastern Canada. And a lot of people ask me, why do I have this map of Eastern Canada when I'm not even from there? But I find it fascinating. Sometimes I'll look at this map for hours and I'll just find this weird town and look it up, and it has a crazy history. There's so many things I can tell you about that map. Below it is a map of the solar system. I also got this from the observatory in LA during that time I talked about earlier. And I don't like this one as much, but I thought it would be cool in my room. If you come to my side bit table here, we have a couple fun things. This is my rubber tree named Luke. Originally it was named Alex, but then one time I accidentally called it Luke, and I thought maybe that's what it's trying to tell me its name is. So this is Luke. Unfortunately he lost some of his leaves down here, so he's looking a little weird, but no offense Luke, you look amazing, I love you. And we also have this live butterfly. This is a real animal. It's basically taxidermy, and it comes from Africa. There's a little write-up at the back, and this is also a gift from my best friend, David Dryden, and yeah, it's really cool. It kind of goes with the motif of everything. It made me feel really known that I got this really cool gift, and I actually really like taxidermy, so it's like a good foray starting point into the art of taxidermy. I don't think I'm gonna get a stuffed leopard, but maybe one day. And over here we have my closet, and I'm pretty proud of how I organized this. It's a smaller closet, but this has the barn door, which is kind of cool. And I was able to fit pretty much most of my clothes on hangers, which is great. And there's lots of space up there, so that's also great. And it's really convenient in the morning that there's this sliding door. I don't have to worry about missing more space by opening up swinging doors. That's what the French doors are for. So this is my bedroom. I also have a fun fan, which is great for hot summer nights like this one. Thank you so much for coming to visit my apartment. It was great having you. I hope you enjoyed all the weird corners and trinkets that I have in my home, and hopefully I can have you here in real life someday. We can have some tea, listen to a record, sit on the couch and talk about life, look at my weird Greek people, and it's gonna be a great time. But until then, I'll see you later. Thanks for being my friend. Bye.